one, and we are live. Good afternoon, everybody. It's John Z on Saturday, March 6th at approximately 2:51 p.m. And today we're joined by Alan Grover, our famous recruiter coach who we all know and love, Tom Walsh and Phil Ledwith, who have a combined 172 years of real estate experience.
I thought you were
And
going to say IQ.
no, that's not combined. That would be each, but the majority of which goes to Phil. And we have Kim Ferraro from our own Northern States Mortgage. So we're going to start off, since Kim's on a tight schedule. She's got 7 applications to get going today from our office alone. So we want to get her on board and get her lined up with all the new programs that Northern States has, and we can do a little Q&A, and then we'll send her back to work to get those loans processed in 17 days or less. So without further ado, Kim, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. Waiting for summer to come. So I know everybody's busy, but I wanted to go over the grant money that we have available. I think it really helps grow your business and get people in your pipeline. We have a first-time homebuyer grant that's $77,500, and we also have $10,000 available. Now, the $10,000 that's available, you do not have to be a first-time homebuyer. That's huge. It's like a game changer. You just have to be deemed essential worker. And I can send John the list that outlines for Connecticut what an essential worker is. Nurse, firefighter, EMT, school teacher, grocery store worker, even falls under that category, FedEx driver, okay? It's a big opportunity. The first-time homebuyer grant is, designed for non-essential worker, and that's $7,500. Both of these programs, you just need to have $1,000 out of your pocket. They can go for a conventional loan, FHA, VA, USDA. They can go for any loan option out there, and the seller's assist can still be a part of that, okay? Now, it is household income driven, so it's not for everybody. For example, Hartford County, New Haven County, Leech County, Middlesex County, a household of 1 cannot make more than $57,000. A household of 2, $65,000, and a home of 4, $82,000. So the more people you have in the home, the higher the household limit is. Milford and Sonia, household of 1 is $60,000. Household of 2, 69, and a household of 4, for example, is 86. When you get into Fairfield County, then the household income is even greater. This goes down to a 620 credit score. The grant is fully forgiven. So if you live in the property 5 years, you do not have to pay any of the money back. So it's a lot different than CHFA. If you, for example, leave the house in 3 years and the profit is less than $2,500, you still don't have to pay anybody back. So it's a great alternative to get people into their first home, and it can be up to a 1 unit to a 4 unit primary residence. So that's kind of like what I like to talk to you about today, because of course we have everything else out there. We have speedy service. We can close loans in less than 30 days. So especially if you're in a bidding war, you definitely want to use us. A lot of times we're actually getting appraisal waivers, so the property doesn't even need an appraisal. So that saves the customer about $500, and obviously it saves the appraisal being done. So I'm Kim with Northern States Mortgage. Thanks.
All right. Well, that's some good stuff. The grant things are incredible. Quick question for you. Do you know if restaurant workers are essential?
I can look it up. I can look it up if you want to move on to another question, because I do have the list on my desktop.
Okay. Tom and Phil, Alan, any questions for Kim?
The 7,500 with first-time homebuyer program. The definition of a first-time homebuyer is what? Somebody hasn't owned a property in the last 2-3 years?
Yeah, in the last 2 years.
2 years. So if you sold something a couple years ago, you haven't owned it, you may qualify for that?
Correct.
Wow.
Now, if you're an essential worker, you could actually own a house now, close on it, and still qualify for this $10,000.
Gotcha.
Is the 7,500 grant, is that a grant that is scaled back if you were to sell before 5 years?
Both of the products are scaled back. So in 5 years, if you were to sell the property, then depending on how much the property makes in equity, you would have to pay back. But for instance, say you want to sell in 3 years and the property is only going to make, an equity, say $2,500, you don't have to pay any of it back.
Conversely, if you made 20,000, you might have to pay it all back.
Or a portion of it, correct.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Now, where does that grant money come from?
Comes from a bank in Georgia.
Interesting.
Well, thank Georgia.
So if,
Yeah, we get it every year. They come up, they have $1 million to spend. So last year it ran out in October-ish. But last year it was always deemed for first-time home buyers. Now it's essential worker and you don't have to be a first-time home buyer. So that's opening up a lot more opportunity for people out there.
Gotcha.
but if you stay in the house for the 5 years, is it
Fully
Then-
forgiven.
fully, even if they make like a $50,000 profit in
Correct.
equity or whatever, it's not driven by that. It's just
No.
whatever, as long as you stay 5 years, you're good.
Correct.
Okay.
So I mean, the list here I'm pulling up, I mean, dentists, pharmacists, elder care, home health, research and development, manufacturing, distribution, warehousing, supplying of pharmaceutical, biological, healthcare, consumer health products, medical devices, equipment, wastewater, utilities, essential infrastructures, food processing, U.S. military, production workers, aircraft, weapons, essential retail, including grocery stores and big box stores or wholesale clubs, gas stations, food and beverage, including liquor and packaging stores, manufacturing, hauling. I mean, the list just goes on. Banks, insurance companies, checks cashing services.
It's almost everybody.
How about television? How about television employees?
I'll send you guys this. I mean, the list, I'll send it to
Send it
John,
over.
and then
Send
if
it
he wants
over and
to
I'll distribute.
post it up in the office. I mean, it even includes pest control, landscaping vendors, childcare services,
Realtors?
welfare of the public.
Not
Doesn't
realtors?
say realtors, but I mean, I'm just skimming this. You know what I mean?
Send it over and we'll distribute it to everybody. That'd be great.
Yeah, I certainly will.
And the
I certainly
income,
don't.
the income limit for a couple is 65,000, you said, or what if you have more of an income?
You don't qualify.
Then you don't qualify.
Okay, so 65,000.
So if you make 65,000 and 1 penny, you don't qualify. And what happens is we get the last pay stub from 2020, and then we get their most recent 30-day pay stubs.
Okay,
Okay. And if someone's close, then I have them send me that stuff right up front.
Hey, Kim, what are we seeing on appraisals lately not on refis, but on purchases? Are we seeing any major issues with appraisals coming in low?
No, I haven't had any major issues. I mean, I did have an appraisal come in low on a property in Florida, but that was just because it was a condo and they tried to go outside the condo complex. That didn't work. And but a lot of times, even with 10-15% down, we're getting appraisal waivers.
Oh,
So,
good. Yeah, good.
but I haven't seen any of that, so that's good.
All right.
I don't like when that happens.
Does the grant money program, when they do the appraisal, come, like when you do a DAP and those, they come up with repairs and all? This one isn't like that, right? It's just
No.
it's just
No.
conventional, none of that. Yeah. Okay.
Well, it falls on, if they do an FHA loan, then it's gonna fall under the FHA guidelines.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so they just have to take an online first-time home buyer phone call. Once the grant's approved, it's 45 minutes. Basically just telling them, not to foreclose, how to pay the bills, things like that.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Kim. We appreciate you coming on today. We'll
You're
be
welcome.
talking to you more and more, and hopefully you get a lot of calls from the agents at our company, and get those loans processed and closed.
Yeah, real quick, if the agents are, wanting to reach out to me, I do suggest that you guys call me on my cell phone because I'm not always in the office and I like the cell phone usage because you can text, call, weekends, everything else. So
Why don't you
definitely
just
use my
throw out, since this is being recorded, why don't you throw out your cell phone right now?
My cell phone is 724-272-0770. And my online website is kimmortgagepro.com.
There you go. Now we've got it all. All right. Anything else for Kim before we let her go? Thank you very much, Kim.
Thank you,
Have a good
guys.
one.
Thanks, you too.
You
Thank
can
you.
either leave or I'll kick you out, either one.
Okay, thanks.
Bye. Bye for now.
Yep, bye-bye.
I did.
And we're back live from the office at 449 Celestine Highway. Just a little housekeeping things for you guys. Next Friday at 12:30, we have our remote virtual, if you want to call it, nationwide awards program. We've got some great speakers. We've got David Eisenhower, not Eisenhower, Eisenhower, and Jared James. You probably know Jared James, but they're both going to be live with us. There's a huge crowd coming. And what we're going to do, you're going to be able to do it from home or your phone or wherever you are, but we're going to open up, since the offices are opening up anyway, we're going to invite about 6 to 10 of the first people that RSVP, when you get it, RSVP, to come into the office. We'll have the big screen in the front for 6 or 8 of us, socially distanced, and in the conference room, about another 2 or 3. The first ones that RSVP can come in and watch it with us, and the rest from home. Hopefully you make it. It's 12:30 our time, so it'll be, have your lunch ready and whatever you want to do. It's going to be about an hour, hour and a half. We're not going to go through a 3-hour long awards program. It's going to be scrolled across, but the 2 people on the screen are the recipients of 2 of the awards, along with many others of you. So we hope you can join us and give a virtual shout out to our award winners. Last year, exactly at this time, it was Friday, March 13th, and on the 12th of March, we chose to voted as a broker council to postpone it. So we still have your awards in the office if you won one. So anyway, that's Friday. Mark your calendars for that. We still have our second contest going on that ends on St. Patrick's Day. Started on Valentine's Day, ends on St. Patrick's Day. And here's something, whoever had a listing or a sale in that time, you know who you are, you're automatically entered in. But whoever texts me by Monday night with 2 code words, you can put them together. There's going to be 2 code words. The first one is Weichert. Write it down because you're probably going to forget it. So write down Weichert. So you got the first code word. To get to the second code word, I hate to say it, but you got to watch this to the end. If you don't have both of them, you're not in. All you need to do is text me. If you don't have me in your phone, it's 860-883-7613. Text Weichert and then the next word. Can't say what it is yet, but you'll get it in a minute. So that's by Monday. Going to talk now about the Impact Initiative. Ralph had an emergency. He was going to be on just to give you a little commercial on it, but between Ralph and Phil and Tom, they're solid behind this initiative. So Alan, if you wouldn't mind just telling us a brief overview, pretend you're Ralph and kind of bring us through the Impact Initiative from the agent's perspective. We have a leadership group also, if you don't know, and we're doing the same things we ask you to do. We're prospecting for agents. We're making phone calls. We're doing all the things. So it's not like we're asking you to do something that we're not doing ourselves, because we are. So Alan, from the Agent Impact Initiative, tell us.
Yeah, I feel like from the agent perspective, and it's very similar to what I'm doing on leadership too, but it is exactly that. It's to remind and to remind the old school agents who've been in this for a long time, the things of the past that worked in the past can be brought back to the future to actually make productive ways of finding additional business. Every one of us needs the answer to the question, where can I find that next transaction? And it actually sharpens the Impact Initiative gives us the language, reminds us how the scripts of what we should be saying, how we should be saying it, the things that we should be doing to prospect for that additional business, the things that are going to help us to get that next transaction and to ultimately increase your goals. And ultimately, we all want more production. And the Impact Initiative is all about that. It's like sharpening your axe so that you can actually make more money with less time and get more results. And that's what the Impact Initiative is. It's what we all need. And it's a great reminder for the experienced agents. And it's also fantastic for the new agents who have never experienced it before and are trying to be seduced into paying for leads that are a lot less effective than what we are doing with the Impact Initiative. The Impact Initiative is a lot more of an effective system.
And for those of you that don't know the schedule, basically the first session of 7 weeks was in November. The second set, and then you have 7 weeks off. The second 7 was in January. The third session starts in April. So you got plenty of time. Once we get the schedule out, you'll have it. And if you happen to miss a part or one session, they're recorded. You can watch it for a few days. They save them for you so you can get everything you want to eat, whether you're new or experienced. And from the experience side, I want to turn this over to Phil, who has raved about it on the screen with everybody there, or to Ralph or to me. And whenever he pokes his head in my office, he said, I got something out of the Impact Initiative. And Phil, if you wouldn't mind, just tell everybody how long you've been in the business. Now, you don't have to say how successful you are, because I'll tell them. Phil is very successful. But tell us how long you've been in and a little bit about your experience with Impact Initiative.
I think I'm at 31 plus years, but I went on the Impact Initiative, and originally, I just wanted to check out what it was. And I was like, wow, this is good. I really like being in the atmosphere of people that are out there, doing and positive attitude. And then obviously with Ralph, he goes over everything. And even though I've been in the business for a long time, you're always picking up something, or you say, oh yeah, I started straying off and doing it this way. And you had to kind of bring yourself back to the center. So I'm constantly, just trying to, stay on track and do the things that he says to do. You learn how to really handle, like what you need to do for getting leads for sellers and the basic things you need to do. And, it's very, what I always say is it's always best to learn from somebody who's a master. And, he's like the top guy, and you just follow what the master says and you're going to do well, especially if you're a new person. I mean, you can't even believe, like, if you follow that stuff, you'll just be so successful, because that's the stuff that works. And when you're brand new, you tend to try to do it your own way. And if you listen to Ralph, you're going to do it the right way.
Phil, did you happen to see who just joined us?
Yeah, I saw him pop in down in the corner there, man.
I will also say, Phil touched on it. I got to tell you that in my 24 years of selling real estate, what I found the most valuable with the Impact Initiative is the people around you. Phil did nail that. And I think I have the meeting we had 2 meetings ago introduced and got me thinking about ideas that another agency is doing. And Wade is the gentleman that we spoke with. And having talked with him, I got to tell you, that was the most productive meeting in my entire career. It's going to change my life. In fact, we already implemented what he advised to do, and I landed 7 appointments this week from the activities that he recommended, and it's going to change our company, my career. It's going to change everything, and it's all because of the people that I met in the Impact Initiative and their interactions, sharing what works with them.
Now, what Alan's talking about for you two guys is recruiting and attracting new salespeople to our company. Yeah. So the things that I just mentioned, what we're asking our agents to do in terms of prospecting and follow-up and saying the right words at the right time in the moment of truth, we're doing it as well as what we're asking everyone else to do. And sometimes it doesn't come across that way. There's a broker or manager saying, hey, do this, and then but they don't know how to do it. But we do, and we are. So it bodes well for, I think, the overall growth of the company and the interaction that we have with all of you guys, not just Tommy and Phil, but to keep the momentum going before we turn it over to Ralph for a few minutes. Tom, based on what Phil just said, anything to add to that from your perspective?
Yeah, what's very important, and Phil's been in business for a long time, but
How many
every
years for you?
every good agent realizes they can get better. There's new things you can learn every day to be more successful. The knowledge you can get just from listening to some of these classes through Ralph, through John, through Alan, it basically gives you the power. And the power is the knowledge that you know what you're doing, and it gives you the confidence to succeed in front of people when you meet them face to face. And it's really important that you surround yourself with a winning environment. So I know Weichert Real Estate, and particularly the Betsky Group, we thrive on a winning environment. So to get involved, to listen
Tom,
to
for those of you that don't know you, how many years have you been doing this crazy business?
Phil, 34.
Oh, you don't know? You gotta check with Phil.
Tom ran out of toes.
We started about the same. I think about 34, 35.
We'll go with that number.
He ran out of toes and fingers to count.
I thought it was
All right.
31. I thought it was 31, but
Thank you
maybe
for
I
those-
lost count. I don't know.
Thank you for those comments, Tom and Phil. I think our overall agent population will find some of those comments helpful. And we want to welcome Ralph, who's still on Central Time.
As you finally figured out, right?
We started out the meeting with some general announcements. We had Kim from Northern States Mortgage, which when you see the recording, we went over some great programs that are out there in terms of grant money for essential people, even with 620 credit scores. So we had that. She had to go. Then we talked about impact with Alan from his perspective, and Phil and Tommy from theirs. And we know it's coming up in April. And this is going out to 60 agents in a matter of an hour or so. The recording will go out. We're also going to, I'll be a little repetitive here for those that are watching it now. We have a contest going, but to get entered into the contest on a different level, you have to watch this. They already know the first code word is Weichert. And at the end of the meeting, I'm going to give them the second code word. If they text John Zabretsky by tomorrow with the 2 code words, they get an entry for some prizes. So a little hook there, a little fun, but that's where we're at. And the rest of the time, Ralph, good afternoon.
Hey, good to see you guys. I am so embarrassed. I got a buzz on my calendar. Thank you so much. I got this buzz on my calendar. It says, okay, you're like, 35 minutes away or something. And I'm thinking, and then I get a text from John, are you going to join us? Oh, no, I'm in Texas and they're not. I apologize, guys. My goodness.
No
I'm
problem.
working in so many different time zones. It's driving me crazy. Anyway.
We saved the best for last, Ralph.
Oh, well, it's thanks for hanging on until I got here. I can't believe it. I feel so embarrassed. So thank you for hanging in there. Hey, listen, about the Impact Initiative. That starts again on the 15th of April. And as a sidebar, what we're doing in that, we have a leadership session and we have an agent session. And they're 7 Thursdays in a row. They're 70 to 90 minutes each class. The agents are in the morning, the brokers, the managers, they're in the afternoon. And, Alan said it so well. I'm grateful and happy that we're able to present the materials that we're able to present. But more importantly, we're working with some of the most productive agents and company owners on the North American continent. We've got a guy that Alan was talking about, Wade Webb, and his company did 31 million in commissions last year. I want you to think about that and then divide that amongst his agents. And that means everybody was making great money. And what was it about that company that allows that to happen? Well, one of the things that they do very well is they recruit very well. And I had a phone call, I think it was yesterday, the day before, and a guy said, okay, what you're always getting questions about, like, what's changed in the last 40 years or whatever. And he said, my question is, what hasn't changed? And the next morning, I said, let me sleep on it. The next morning, I was going through some old files and I found an article that my ex-partner, who is since passed on, and I wrote back in 1990, and it was about recruiting. And when I read the article, I thought to myself, that's the one thing that hasn't changed. You know, is there a real reason for recruiting? And most people, you know, they say, well, that's to build your army, make it bigger and stronger. And the answer to the response I would have to that is, yes, that's true. But the number one reason a good company continues to recruit and add agents to its organization is to make the people they already have even better. When we look at sporting teams and we look at players of the past, and then when they bring somebody new in, how it motivates everybody to do even better. And the one thing about the Zabretsky Group, and I've known John now for, you know, so long, it hurts to even think about it, but longer than Tommy and Phil have been in the business, let's put it that way. The one thing I can tell you is John is in the habit of building winners. And that to me is something, it's John, he's not going to like this, but it's almost like a Yankee tradition.
I'll take the analogy for what it is.
Thank you. I'm just saying, you know, that you know what I'm saying. But now I can say it's like building a Dodger tradition. How's that? I've got my Dodger blue hat on, you know, so and I'm rooting for those guys. I love that team. Good manager who was a big hero in 2004 for the Red Sox when they won the World Series. Dave Roberts. He's now the manager of the Dodgers. So there's some roots that have gone from the east to the west. But with regard to the Impact Initiative, once again, it's an opportunity to interface with, like I said, some of the most productive agents and owners on the continent. Now we're getting people who are calling us from Western Europe, from the United Kingdom, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, England. We've got people who have now contacted us from Eastern Europe. We've got people who are talking to us from Mexico and South America. And now we even have people talking to us from Asia, hoping that we can somehow bring all of this together. I'm not sure with that many time zones that we're going to be able to do it in a single group, but I would say that it won't be long before we've got truly a multicultural, multinational group of professionals working together to help everybody be the absolute best they can be. I was on a call this morning with a young lady who was a brand new agent with me in 1983. And she went on to have an incredible career and open her own office and did a phenomenal job. And now then she retired and had been just living the life that she loved. And she got a hold of me and she says, I've been thinking about getting back into the business. Do you think that it's still possible to do well? And my answer is, there's never really a bad time to get into the business. The secret is, if you come into the business and you learn the correct way to do the business from the beginning, you'll have a career that will last forever. For agents, it's very simple. You'll learn how to prospect. You learn how to lead and direct people to good decisions in their moments of truth. It's not about trying to sell anybody something that they don't want to buy. That's not the case at all. It's rather about providing enough good information so that people really can, you know, make a good decision. And they bring us into it. You, me, John, Alan, Tom, Phil, they bring us into it for one very simple reason. They want an outside influence that they feel they can trust. They already know what they want. They already know what they're going to buy, but they want somebody they can bounce things off of. Now, when I say, Tommy, tell me, what do you think about this? Tommy doesn't have to have the same outlook as the buyers. All he has to do is tell the truth, and they can feel that. And if you'll be honest with the people you're working with, do what's right, do what's fair, just lead and direct them to a good decision in their moment of truth. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the business. What matters is the integrity and the character that you present that says you're in this to do the very best you can in your customer's best interest. And at the Impact Initiative, I think that's one of the things that we press hard on. We want you to know that everybody wants to be heard, and we need to treat people with great respect. If we do that, we have a much better chance of making this a lifelong career that will make you as much money as you want, will help you establish a wonderful retirement system for yourself. And all along the way, you're going to make some great friends and help a lot of families live a better life. So let me tell you about one more thing. On March 25th and 26th, that's a Thursday and a Friday. It's I think we're less than 3 weeks away now.
Mhm.
On Thursday, the 25th, we've got an agent program. And it's, if you're a member of Weichert Zabretsky Group, you're going to be able to attend this for free. Let me just tell you, we have some huge names. We have Dave Jinks, who is the co-author of The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor, and Shift. He was the co-author with Gary Keller, and he's going to be our opening keynote speaker. And Dave and I have been friends for, I'm going to say since 1988 or 89. So we're talking over 30 years. And this guy is going to kick our morning off really nicely. Then I'm going to have a couple of panels, and I've got Tony Broughton, which none of you know. This guy's from Australia. He's an incredible real estate agent in British Columbia, Canada. He's a wild man. This guy is absolutely out there. And when you see the introduction, I'll be probably putting out some ads before this Impact Initiative Summit takes place, and I'm going to run a couple of his YouTube videos. You're going to just say, oh, I got to see this guy, because he brings it. So you're going to enjoy. And then we have, like I said, these panels of agents, and we're going to find out, what are they doing to really make things happen today? And what are they doing to make sure that when the shift in the market comes, and listen, gang, it's coming. I was talking to a gentleman this morning in Newport, Rhode Island. He's been in commercial real estate for more than 20 years that I've known and worked with him. And it's not pretty for the commercial side of the real estate industry. It's sad, it hurts. But on the residential side right now, it is screaming, it is kicking. But that too will shift. I've watched, this is the 5th cycle I've been through in my career, and I've never seen one as hot as the market we're in right now. So you could come into this business today and trip and fall down and make money. What we want to help you do in the Impact Initiative, and what I know the Zabretsky Group will do for you, is they'll show you how when the market shifts, you'll be able to transition into the new marketplace, still make a great living, and you'll have a career worth having. So I'm hoping that you'll join us on the Thursday, the 25th. I believe your time will be 11:30 a.m. It'll be 3 to 3.5 hours. There'll be no charge to anybody in the Zabretsky Group. On Friday is the leadership meeting. We're going to kick that off with Betsy Allen Manning. And right now, she is one of the most sought after keynote speakers at conventions all over the world right now. John, we had her on a meeting maybe a year ago or something for just a few minutes. And her popularity is just off the charts. So to get her to open for us on the leadership day is going to be incredible. And she's going to talk about, you know, what kind of a leader really do you need to be if you want to attract the best? And she's got it down. Then I've got 2 incredible panels. Panel number 1 is Dr. Steven Weinberg, former Peace Corps director in the George Bush administration. He's also a surgeon, an attorney, a rancher, an oil and a gas man, and he's been my friend for over 30 years. And John, I know you've met Steve before. He's really an incredible guy. The second guy we have on that panel is Larry Rideout. Now, I've known Larry for years and years and years. And about, I'm going to say, 13 years ago, 12 or 13 years ago, he bought his first real estate company, had 3 offices. This guy is such a quality gentleman. He now has 23 offices. He has the most productive real estate company in the entire state of Massachusetts. So he's going to be on there, and he's going to talk to us how he went from 3 offices to 23 in a very short period of time. And then the third guest is a guy that I know pretty well. His name is Jason Williams, and he was starting first baseman on his college baseball team. They were nationally ranked. He then went on and became an incredible securities and private banking executive. And at the age of 45, he retired. And he's my son. And he's been retired for a little over a year now. And he's thinking about jumping back into the world of finance, and he's been approached by a number of major players. And so he'll probably be back in the world of private banking and securities and all of that. But just as a sidebar, he basically, he managed 85 billion in assets for people. He had 900 people on his team. And he's just an incredible young man who will show us how to recruit the best of the best. He built his organization wherever he went. He started in Dallas, Texas, went to Beverly Hills in Southern California, took that region for Wells Fargo to the #1 position in their entire Wells Fargo companies. Then he went from there to Miami when they bought Wachovia and they flipped it to the Wells brand. That was his job. He built that region into the #1 region in the whole company of the Wells Fargo companies. And then he went up to Manhattan and he took over things where it really counts in New York and took that to the #1 position. And then because of the way that things were going in the world and the way with politics and the way with restructuring organizations, an opportunity came for him to trigger a retirement and a buyout. He took it, and the rest is kind of history. But he's going to talk to us about how you attract the very best of the best. CEOs from major companies, CFOs from major companies, the very top securities investment advisors in the entire business, and bringing them under his umbrella and having them be incredibly happy to be part of his team. He knows his business would be the best way I can say it. Our second panel will have Wade Webb on it, who Alan mentioned earlier. And I'm not at liberty to tell you the other 2 people we'll have because I haven't secured. I have about 4 people I'm talking to, and I want to make sure that the fit is really right. But I promise you, we're going to have one heck of a program on Friday the 26th. So if you're part of the Impact Initiative now, there will be no charge. For everybody that's outside of that, if you're a leader, a broker, a manager, you will pay $47 to come to this. And that 47, if you're a leader, will allow you to go to both the Salesperson's Day and the Leadership Day. If you're an agent and you're not with a company that's with the Impact Initiative, your $47 will buy you a ticket into the Agent Day on the 25th. So our hope is that you'll join us. It's a good thing. If you're an agent that wants to be involved in the Impact Initiative, it's $1,200 a year to belong to that. And if you work with John Zabretsky, he's picked up the tab for you. So, my recommendation is when you've got a broker that believes that much in you, that is willing to invest that kind of money into you as an individual, and you do the math on the number of agents that he has in his company. And if you're not with his company, but you're going to join his company, my bet is you're going to bring them into that too. John, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you've got a guy that believes in doing the very best he can for the agents that he has working for him. Other than that, I really got nothing to say, but if you want to know how to get involved in the Impact Initiative, you can email at me, Ralph at bottomlineuniversity.com, or you can get a hold of John. He can put you in touch with me and we'll make something good happen. Hey guys, thank you for letting me be part of this today. Sorry I was late. I feel, what is
No problem.
Just wanted the grand entrance so that you come in there.
That's it. I needed the attention, right? Yeah.
Plan.
Fashionably late. See, he dressed up for us too, so that's good. Hey, as promised, the second of the 2 words. The first word was Weichert. The second word is works.
Works.
So you
Yes.
text Weichert Works to 860-883-7613 before Monday night at midnight. How's that? We'll give you till midnight. And don't worry about texting at 3 in the morning. If you're sleepless and watching this, I'm not going to pick up my phone at 3 in the morning, but I'll know you got in there, and we'll acknowledge your entry and we'll have some fun with that. So Weichert Works, text 883-7613. And I think we're going to sign off for now. We've got Frank Sinatra signing off, Phil Ledwith, Alan Grover from Maui, and Ralph Williams from the great state of Texas. Thanks everybody for being here, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Keep being fantastic, Ralph.
Hey, thank you, Tommy. Good to see you. Good to see you, Phil. Good to see
Take
you,
care.
Alan.
Take
John,
care, guys.
thanks everybody.
Now.
John.
Bye-bye.